I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin, take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside him, bobbed, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny, trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzel on the big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Well, hello, mate. How are you this Thursday lunchtime?
Yeah, good. Look, I wouldn't say it's lunchtime. I'd say it's podcast time.
Podcast time.
Because that's what we put before our starvation. Drifters, we put horse racing before everything. Mate, I'm still basking in the glory of the weekend. I've watched the replay of Steeples like 20 times.
Of course. Yeah, and I've indulged in some of my favourites this week, and you know what? Let's not bury the lead, because it's such a good segment that we have to do it each and every week now, as the music loads.
The pressure's on again. Private Eye.
Who am I? I had 15 career wins, 2 Group 1s, 2 Group 2s, 5 Group 3s, and 2 listed wins.
Continue.
From 39 starts. I won races as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 7-year-old. My final run was in 2020.
Oof.
I won races in Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne.
Oof.
I won 2 Everests.
The old boy, Red Zell.
Yeah. Mate, I was actually shocked going through his CV. Like, it was because in modern times, like obviously the Everest aren't Group 1s, but he's essentially a 4-time Group 1 winner, 2 Group 2s, 5 Group 3s, and 2 listed races, winning from 2-year-old right up to a 7-year-old. He's an absolute star.
He is. I wonder if he was gelded when he was 2, or if he maybe had his nuts initially and then they did a Marzu and thought, look, this guy's only going to reach his potential if you chop his nuts off.
Well, this is how much of a sicko I was, because I went back and watched his 2-year-old races. So he won a 2-year-old maiden on debut, and then I think he went up a short price favourite next start, and he didn't do much. But you know what they did was they tried to take a sit on him. So he was racing about 5th or 6th in the running. It's like, no, guys, what are you doing? Let fast horses go fast.
Yeah. Let fast horses go fast. And I wish there was more Red Zells. Racing was a better place when he was around, because you know you're going to get genuine tempo in the race. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think he really... So even though he was around as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, he didn't really do much in those years. He really turned a leaf in his 4-year-old year, and that's when he was... running around in Galaxies, running second to Russian Revolution on a heavy 10 when She Will Reign won when we were at the Noosa Surf Club in 2017.
Yeah, I remember clearly. Was he an Everest winner at 4 or 5?
2017, he would have been... This is 15, maybe 4. He'd have to be 4.
So he went 4 or 5.
Either 4-5 or 5-6.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe 5-6.
Oh, he was a good boy. He was a cash cow for us.
Yeah, he was a cash cow. He was the absolute best. Mate, what are your thoughts, general musings on this weekend's, set of racing at Moonee Valley and Randwick?
I'm looking forward to it, absolutely. There's a lot of good horses returning. I think it makes it a little bit tricky though, because there's some horses first up at unsuitable distances. You could argue that are clearly, you could argue, the best horse in the race, but you're not getting any value. So I'm sort of in two minds whether I, go with a horse who I think's best in a few races, even though they're short, or if I try and get them beat first up, knowing that they've got bigger fish to fry. That's how I saw a lot of the races this weekend.
Yeah, same here. I've found it. I thought Moonee Valley had more clear standouts. I thought Sydney was a really difficult card. Made more difficult, as we'll touch on in the race for the Tattersalls Club Cup. But before that, rails in the 4 metre position. Looking at my stuff, I think it's advantage to be in the top third in the running of the field coming to the straight. It's good weather up until Saturday, so I think we should be getting closer to a good track on Saturday come this weekend. So we will see. But race 4, a really perplexing start to the card. 2,400 metre listed handicap race, but this could be a 4-horse field on a Saturday because Cleveland, Glory Days, Age of Sail and Travolta, who all have jockey bookings in this race, are also heading towards the Wyong Cup on Friday. Yeah. So, and Saltcoats has already scratched his head in that way as well, and he's the $3.40 favourite in that contest. So, based on, the process of elimination, Changing of the Guard, who hasn't won in 3 years, is going to start about a $2 favourite.
Oh, yeah, it's bizarre race. Because I was looking at the Wyong Cup as well and put 2 and 2 together that a lot of these won't be racing on Saturday. So, I don't know. Travolta, does Travolta just win again? But no spoil at $2.10.
And does he go here? That's the thing.
And does he go there? Yeah.
Yeah. So, can't possibly have an opinion in this race until, the connections sort out where exactly they're heading, even though they probably know exactly where they're heading already.
Can I just say quickly, I hate Cleveland. I hate that horse.
Because he knocked you off of an enormous collect, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He beat Vow de Clare
Moonee Valley
Friday
Gold
night
Cup
at the Valley.
Yeah.
And Vow de Clare was the last leg of a significant multi. And Bro's had 23 career starts and he's only won 3 times. And that was one of them. Why can you just not, on that one occasion, just not do that to him?
And I reckon, let's have a quick look. So he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 starts in Australia, and that's his only win.
And how's his record read post that victory in the Moonee Valley Gold Cup? 14 of 14, 18 of 18, 8 of 8, 17th of 17, 4th of 14, and then 8 of 20 in the Sydney Cup. Come on, man. I hate that horse. Look, if he ends up in this race, I'll have to back him.
Good Wyong Cup, actually. LL Cairns resumes there as well. She's $5.50 there as the top weight. But anyway, race 6 is the Furious Stakes, Group 2 for the 3-year-old fillies at set weights over 1,200 metres. Previous winners of the race being Manal, Tis Invincible, North Star Lass, Jamea, Dame Giselle, and Libertini. So not a bad wrap of fillies there. I said previously in the wrap-up of what was that first race, the Silver Shadow, that I did think that Within the Law could reverse the calls on Savvy Halley once they step up in distance and more likely going to see a good trap. And if she draws out. Now, barrier 16 is excessive, I will say. Didn't necessarily think she'd need to draw that far out. But, I'd prefer her to draw out there than barrier 1. Let's put it that way.
I think Within the Law can turn the tables, and they're a similar price, so clearly the bookies also think that. they're the two obvious, right? Within the law and Savvy Halley. There's no reason why Savvy Halley can't continue to improve third up. I've just seen another one in the market, number 16, Apocalyptic. It's $4.60 at the moment with the good people at Ned's. Do you know much about this little filly?
I don't. Only the one star, but, finished behind Gallo Nero, who couldn't get the job done in Sydney or in Brisbane. So possibly a bit of hype money, being an extreme choice filly, but probably need to see it.
Okay, fair enough. So the one I'm actually going to have a bet on, just for a little bit of a spec first up, is number 8, Acacia. $21 with the good people at Ned's. Watched a couple of its trials on soft decks, albeit, and trialled pretty well. First up in its first trial with Gangster Granny, winning that one. And then was trialling alongside the likes of Depth of Character in its next trial and ran well again. I'm prepared to have a spec at that price purely because its first prep has beaten home Beedman and has good form around a couple of others. So, she came third in that Yarraman Park Woodlands Stakes at Scone. So, a lucid race in her third start. She ran a nice third. Draws well enough here, and at that price, worth a spec.
Yeah, definitely worth a spec. One I think is over the odds, and she hasn't been too far away, and as we were just talking about with Red Zell, might just take her a couple of preps. She might be better as she gets older. But number 11, Karinska for Chris Waller in those familiar star thoroughbred silks. Only 1.2 lengths away from Ninja first up over the 1,300 metres. Does step back to the 1,200 here. To my eye, she looks like she's going to be a miler in time. So it might not be here, but she's an enormous price, and she hasn't been too far off him. Beaten less than 2 lengths in the Sweet Embrace, that within the law just pipped Bella Zane in as a 2-year-old. Wasn't too far off him as a first up here. So I think she has a bit of talent, and rattles home. Real Aliana type. She'll probably, from that barrier, I don't think she needs to go so far back. She is very negatively ridden, as is the stables want. So, might be a bit more proactive here.
That's a Quinella right there.
We'll see. All right, the Chelmsford 1,600 metres Group 2 at Weight for Age level. Previous winners of the contest, Buckaroo, Navajo Peak, Knight's Order, Think It Over, Mr. Seawolf, and Summer Doubt.
Mr. Seawolf, he was a funny horse.
Yeah. I think we get to see the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup double winner here, kicking off Sir Delius. Now, here was $5 yesterday with the good people on Ned's. He has been crunched into $3.60, I see. That is awfully short. And the stable has actually said, which is no good for my futures prospects, but he could actually, depending on what he does here, if he does show an elite turn of speed, which we did see in Queensland, he could actually be heading towards a Cox Plate over a Caulfield Cup. Now, if the ultimate aim is a Melbourne Cup, I'd say they'd still go the tried and true Caulfield Cup into a Melbourne Cup. So I'm still confident that he'll be heading towards a Caulfield Cup into a Melbourne Cup, but really interested to see what he does here. The stablemate Vauban is obviously in the race as well, and I hear that TC has gone, you know what, I'm following with Sir Delius wherever he goes this prep.
Yeah, fair enough. I thought the market move was really interesting for this horse. He's been trialling well. He's never seen a good deck, Sir Delius, in his career. I think if we do get a good 4 in Sydney, though, on the weekend, it's probably going to be on the softer side. So I don't think that's cause for concern. When I first saw the markets open and it was, close to that $5, I was like, well, I'm going to have a bet on him. But now that he's trimmed up a bit, I'll probably reconsider. She-Wolf's come up very short. He's $2.15 at the moment with Ned's. And he rocketed home first up in the Winks. And everyone thought, Chad Schofield butchered him and he should have finished closer, which you can definitely argue. But I don't know. It gives me run on a bit vibes, Cheerwolf. So I think if you're taking $2.15 with this horse, you have to be absolutely certain that he's going to win because, whilst he's clearly showing a lot of talent, he's got a 25% strike rate as it stands right now. Because he's got a bit of a negative racing pattern. So, I don't know. I'd probably try and get him beat on the weekend, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I tend to agree. I think the market will surely correct with Sir Delius. I think he has to get out again.
Surely
closer
more
to
than
that
$4.
Yeah, I'd say closer to that $5 as he was because he's kicking off the mile here, which I actually love Stayers kicking off. I think the Stayers kind of tag is actually a negative one at times because I think he's better than a Stayer. Like, I think he's got a really electric turn of foot, like a without a fight, good horse.
Horse.
That can get the job done from 2,000 metres onwards. So, and at the mile kicking off, I really don't mind it at all. As you said, trials have been solid, not absolutely blowing anyone's dicks off, but they're good enough. And with Cheerwolf, I think he is beatable, as you said. So, yeah, Sir Delius on top for me, but yeah, it's going to be price dependent if I bet or not.
Yep, fair enough.
All right, the Concorde Stakes, Group 3, 1,000 metres, set weights and penalties. I think Redzel actually won this race 3 times. Guitra, Nature Strip, Eduardo, Remark, and I Am Me. Hell of a winner's roll there. Fascinating contest here. Now you have Jimmy Starr, confirmed starter in the Everest at 550, 60.5 kilos as the top weight. You have Lady Shenandoah kicking off her campaign here from Barrier 1, 58.5 kilos, $2.90. J-Mac in the saddle. We've seen these 4-year-olds just to get the job done in the features so far. Are you on her side or are you willing to risk?
I really like Lady Shenandoah. I don't think she's... I know weight doesn't count for as much over 1,000 metres, but she's a 4-year-old man. She's got to carry more weight than some tried and true geldings through the list. And I don't know if 1,000 metres is her jam, but I don't know. Chris Waller's been doing this for 3 years in a row, where he takes his star 3-year-old filly who stretches out to a mile and tries to turn him into a sprinter with the Everest in mind. It didn't work for Zoo Gotcha. Worked for Jolly Star, not in the Everest, but clearly she's a sprinting type. Lady Shenandoah is by Stitzel, so no shock here if she came out and won.
And would it be fair to say in that Coolmore Classic that she was paddling near the end, at the end of that 1,500 metres, or was Firestorm just more brilliant?
Oh, she was tiring. She also carried a lot of weight for a 3-year-old filly, Lady Shenandoah. But you know my theory on 4-year-old mares, I don't think they're treated that well at weight for age. So when you take a race like this, is this a set weights and penalties race, or it's not a handicap race? Surely
set weights and penalties. Yep.
Look, she's got gate 1.
She's essentially top weight as a 4-year-old mare.
Yeah, she's got gate 1. J-Mac wouldn't shock me at all, but I think if I'm getting $5 for Jimmy or Headwall, I'd probably prefer to have a spec on either of them. I'm a Jimmy Star guy, as you know, and a Headwall guy, as you know. The amount of improvement that Jimmy's made each prep makes me think that he's going to continue to improve. He's basically equal weighted with Lady Shenandoah. He's got a shit gate, but we know where he's going to be towards the end of the race. It's going to be storming home. So I'm probably going to have a bet on Jimmy. He flies fresh. Yeah, worth a spec in my opinion. Yeah,
he was pretty brilliant in winning the Oakley Plate first up, wasn't he? what do you have that day? 54.5 from barrier 14. Ethan Brown in the saddle. Carries 60.5 here. Bit of a coming of age kind of situation with Jimmy because he won the All-Age, beat Jolly Star that day. Newmarket won the Kingston Smith as well. And beat Sunshine in Paris, who went to Brisbane and won a Group 1 as well. So the form stacks up. Over 1,000 metres with his racing style. Do want to risk. The really obvious one to me is Headwall. But is he too obvious? You know what I mean? 1,000-metre horse for a 1,000-metre race. And he's just been putting in some amazing performances, but like his last win was only beating Dragonstone and Hedged, you know what I mean, in the Warra. It's like he's still a length or so away from the absolute elite. So, and he's a 7-year-old gelding. It's like how much more improvement is actually there? So maybe I go with the up-and-coming 5-year-old mare in flight for Joe Pride, who we saw. I think this horse can be an Everest bolter, even though she's only won a Group 3 at Caulfield last start over the 1100. Who'd she beat that day? New York Luster recommendation, sure, but sometimes you have to really trust what you see with your eyes, and gosh, she was impressive. And she does only really have that winter kind of form so far, but I think she can step up to the next level. And if I'm wrong here, then she's 10-1, and she's the B or C grade sprinter, which is absolutely fine. For her to be absolutely in the game here, I think she would probably need a wet track, but I'm happy to take that risk that she's a mare in form, drawn perfect, and she has not elite form, but she has pretty good form over the 1,000 metres as well. So residual fitness, I think she's in the game.
Yeah. I know she's never won on a good track, but I sort of... I don't know, for a mare who improved so much in her last prep on soft decks, I think you sort of... you look at her good track record, and she's come second 3 times. You'd have to go back and watch every single one to see the circumstances behind it, but I don't think I'd be too concerned about the good deck now. So yeah, I think, is she a rung below our A-tier sprinters? Yeah, but she's got 56 kilos here with a nice gait, and is a much better price, so worth a spec.
Yeah, worth a spec, I think. And if I'm wrong, fuck it. The Tramway, 1,400 metres, Group 2, open set weights and penalties. This was a tough race, I thought. Really tough. Previous winners, Royal Patronage, Pericles, Zaki 2 times, and Dreamforce 2 times were coming through. You might have dead-heated one of those. So what's consistent with all those horses, I ask you?
Tough old geldings.
Tough old geldings that are on pace. On pace dominated race. And I can see why. Militarizer's resuming. Linebacker, Port Lockroy. Will he do it? Kovalika, Pericles, Coleman, Al Mehbir, Osipenko, Waterford, Swift Falcon, Depth of Character, all first up here. So I know he's been this podcast whipping boy for a long time, but does Private Eye just go out in front with Hot Nash on board, control this and go like, hey, catch me if you can?
I don't know if he controls it, but I think he gets a nice position from that wide gate. And yeah, he's got the first up run under his belt, which, to be fair, was absolutely gifted to Hot Nash. He's so hot that I didn't want to get anywhere near him. I think Private Eye can win, absolutely. He's actually treated pretty well in the set weights and penalties. Fascinated to see how Pericles goes now that he's with Bjorn. Usually when Bjorn gets a Godolphin horse, they're in the Derby racing silks because Godolphin's flogged him off. It was fascinating to see how one of the triplets goes. Maybe he'll be scratched at the gates like Kitty Cat Tom. I'm going to have a bet on Swift Falcon. Like I know he's a prick of a horse. I get it. But that 3-year-old crop, into their 4-year-old year. He's got 55 kilos, gate 6. I think he's a horse who's definitely got the brilliance, definitely got that Group 1 brilliance, and we don't know what his ceiling is. A lot of these, we know what their ceiling is, so I'm prepared to have a bet on him at $6.
You know who Swift Falcon gives me the vibes of?
Who?
And I reckon this horse actually ran favourite in a Caulfield Cup one year, is Master of Wine. Same silk, same
Macca's
stable.
favourite horse.
Same silk, same stable. Could run on a bit. Definition of.
He could run on a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I get punters have their fingers burnt from Sue Falcon. Like, I was one of them. I think I backed him once or twice last prep. But when he's first up and $6 here as a 4-year-old in this sort of race, like, if I bet on him and he loses, it's like, well, he wasn't $2 favourite. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, it's a good point. I was looking at those 4-year-olds as well. And I think the way I see the speed in this race, because I don't think it's a breakneck speed. I think linebacker goes forward from out wide. New season 4-year-old, Private Eye, Pericles from out wide as well. Osipenko could probably kick up from Barry 1. He's found some earlier speed in his older years. And depth of character as well. And he's a new season 4-year-old from Barry 4. He probably gets the run of the race. Now, he is hot and cold. I feel like he does his best racing in Queensland. And whenever he goes to Sydney, he kind of stinks it up a bit. But at $23, if they do sit off him, he has that somewhat residual fitness from a Queensland campaign. He could be one that's in the finish here, but he would need to improve big time. So I'm probably team Private Eye here. But yeah, not really a race I'm that interested in. All right. I think that's all she wrote at Randwick at the Valley. Rail's in the true position, generally plays very fair, and should be a good track come Saturday as well. So race 5 is the Chautauqua Stakes, listed 1,200 metres handicap. Previous winners, A Little Deep, She Dances, ASAR, Express Pass, and Showmanship. I thought Angel Capital was awfully well placed here. He's nearly the best bet of the weekend.
Yeah, he's one of those ones where he's first up, and you're just fascinated to see how he goes this prep. I'm very keen on him, and I'm wondering if Chris Waller's thinking, let's get the win here, and let's take him to a Rupert Clark to get his Group 1, because he'll probably be pretty well weighted in a Rupert Clark, I would imagine. 1,400 metres, Caulfield, we know he runs well there. So yeah, I'm keen on Angel Capital. The concern is Red Hot Nick, who, is he as talented as Angel Capital? No, but his last 2 wins at the Valley, over 1,200 metres, he's just led and kicked away at quick speed, and there's no reason why he can't do that again. And he's got the lightweight too. So Red Hot Nick, I'm not surprised that he's come up at $4, but I'm an Angel Capital guy. And we'd like to see him win here. Yeah,
who usually rides Angel Capital?
Benny Mellon, but he's suspended.
Gotcha. Because, he can be a difficult horse to ride just with his pattern. So do need a bit of an alpha on, and Frosty, if he's good enough for the Japanese, he's good enough for this, right?
Yeah, fair.
All right, race 6 is the Mackenzie Stakes, listed 1,200 metres for the 3-year-old colts and geldings at set weights and penalties. And Angel Capital actually won this last year. Before that, Stepati, Fast Witness, He's Exceptional, and Ocean Beyond. Tell you what, did have a bit of the run of the races about it, but Space Rider, awfully impressive, I thought, last start, defeating the likes of Wise In Law and Extremo, who I know you were interested in. Are you team Space Rider, Extremo, or are you going outside of those two?
No, I'm prepared to stick with Extremo. Gets a significant jockey upgrade from Weak Gutted Dog, Giant McNeil to Frosty. Draws a nice gate. I think there'll be a bit more intent here. I was ripping up my ticket 400 metres into his last race of Streamo, Jai took him right to the back, and he finished off really, really nicely, though. Hit the line really nicely. Fuck, honestly. He's $5.50 here, so happy to have a bet on a Streamo.
Well, there's another horse here as well. Failed, to say the least, Queensland campaign, Beskar, son of Schnitzel. But before that, was heavily backed to beat North England in the Kindergarten Stakes at Randwick, and got in a bumping duel with King of Pop. Now, North England's probably... he's a horse I'm really interested to see as a 3-year-old. He's been a bit of a brute in the trials. Now, King of Pop has come out and since failed, so the form is questionable, but at $6.50, couldn't talk you out of him. And then there's this up-and-coming colt for Clinton McDonald as well, Rosberg, who is near favourite in some of the Coolmore markets as well. Jump outs have been... I think the jump out before the last one was outstanding, won by about 10 over 800 metres or what have you, but the last one against Open Age Company was a bit left begging, so I kind of want to see him do it.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. I find it fascinating when a horse like this debuts and they're in the market against other horses who have shown some talent. Can I just read a few of his gear requirements to you? Barrier extension, stallion chain, tongue tie.
Bit of a dude.
This boy might be a bit of a dude. Has Jamie on? So fascinated to see what happens. Deep field. I feel like deep field can throw a big colt. I don't know. It could just be me thinking that, but I've just got a feeling. So, yeah, big watch on Rosberg, but couldn't back a horse on debut at that price.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, Space Rider, I think on top for me. I think he beat Grafter Burners by 3.5 lengths on the debut. I think that's good enough form for this, Now, Grafter Burners did not land up being the horse that we thought he would be so far. All right, the Atlantic Jewel Stakes, race 7 on the card, listed 1,200 metres for the 3-year-old fillies. It's set weights and penalties. Last year's winner was Silmarillion. Prior to that, Charm Stone, Troach, Zuzarella, and Night Raid. This is an interesting contest, and I think I found one at odds-ish. But what did you like?
Ferrivia, who won last start in the Quizette Stakes, I was on My Gladiola, and she rocketed home really nicely for second. But I thought Ferrivia was really good, and she's come up $6 here. So I don't know, maybe the bookies are thinking that was a bit of a one-off, but I thought she won with authority. So I'm probably happy to be with her. She does have to carry 58.5 kilos, but she's $6. Aside from that, there's another filly with the Freeman stable who won really nicely in Bendigo last start. That's number 14, Point Barrow. She's a blue point, so I don't know how you're going to feel about that. But yeah, she seems to have some talent as well. She's $10. So yeah, bit more value there. That's a tricky race otherwise for me.
Mate, the blue points run super at Bendigo. What are you talking about? It's just whether or not they can do it in the big smoke. One horse who could do it in the big smoke was Ole Kirk. He was a metro marvel, doing it in Sydney, doing it in Melbourne as well. And his daughter, Ole Dancer, has to overcome a dog shit barrier from barrier 15, but she has the right jockey to do it in Blake Shin, taken by her 2 career starts so far, and I think she looks like a 1,000 guineas horse if I've seen one. So I think she's about that. It's on my Ned's profile. Forget the odds. Might be around $15 for the 1,000 guineas. So I think she's going to put in a good performance here, and she'll be onwards and upwards towards that contest there. So yeah, I think a sneaky run in that Fervia. How do you say it? Fervia?
Ferrivia.
and my Gladiola race was number 12 Custom for Kieran Maher for Godolphin. Cluttered up, hitting the ribs 2 times, which can't possibly help in the straight. She's one I've got my eye on as well, and at $16, I might have something small on her here, and then look to her towards 1,000 guineas as well, because I think she has a bit of talent as well. So she finished not too far off him, and she was entitled to really lag behind, I would say. Keen to have a quick look at the So You Think Stakes. Not a listed event, but 1,500 metres at set weights and penalties. See the Melbourne Cup winner resume here. Nice choice as the top weight.
Yeah, and apparently he trialled, he's been trialling really well. He had a trial in Bendigo.
Well, apparently he's never won a trial in his life, and he's won 2 prior to this.
How good. Yeah, he's not a stayer resuming at 1,600 metres, but 1,500 is pretty close, Hutch. Now, good to see him back, the Melbourne Cup winner. I thought this was a really, really tricky race. I actually don't mind attrition. I feel like he puts in a good performance once at prep, and he needs a good deck to do that, and he gets that this weekend, and he's $8 attrition, so I'm happy to have a sort of spec on him. Moira, I think, is probably the obvious one, and Zardozi resumes, and going to the Kieran Maher stable could be the best thing for this girl, Zardozi. I feel like with as those mares start to get older, particularly those that can run a distance, he just can get something extra out of them. So interested to see how she goes, but happy to have a bit of a spec on attrition.
Yep. I think Desert Lightning is incredibly well placed here. His last 2 starts, sure. Been 2 lengths by private eye on a soft 6. Should see a good track, so I think he'll improve, and second up will have that improvement as well. But this horse was only 2 lengths away in a Stradbroke. I think that form reads pretty well for a race like this. So
it always does. It's always good form.
Yep, and I think at the track he's only run. Maybe I'm thinking of another horse, but yeah, he ran in the Chautauqua last year, beaten into 3rd as well. So yeah, Desert Lightning on top for me. This is a hell of a Moir Stakes. Previous winners: Mornington Glory, Imperatriz, Coolangatta, Wild Ruler, and Pippi. So we have 2 scratchings, Jetabil and Tiger Shark. And I'd imagine that... Who's our favourite here? It looks like Alabama Lass at $4, followed by Isha at $4.80, followed by Neons at $6.50, and Barracuda at $6
as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's a cracking little race. Look, I wouldn't say it's filled to the brim with Group 1 stars, but there's a lot of horses here who I think can take that next step and be Group 1 weight for age horses. If this was like an Oakley Plate field, you'd be like, this is a hell of an Oakley Plate, like a great handicap sprint. But yeah, so I'm really torn at the moment, mate. It's funny. I was sort of, when they sort of announced the field and the acceptances, and they said Aisha was going to be the first emergency, a part of me was sort of half hoping that she would make the field, so I wouldn't have to consider her, and it'd make it an easier bet for me to have. But now that she has made the field with 50 kilos on her back, gate 4, Jamie Carr knows how to win this race on a 3-year-old filly. I can see why she's into 480. Completely an acid test, and she's so untapped. But the way that she's put away the fields in her 2 starts over 1,000 metres tells me there's plenty to give with this horse. So yeah, keen on Isha. Got to risk a few, but the other 2 for me are number 11 Skybird and number 12 Alabama Lass. Alabama Lass, I don't think she's a 1,000 metre horse, but I do think she's a really talented horse. So I think this is a bit of a spec, and if she runs well, they'll really screw her down for a Manikato, Alabama Lass for mine. But would not shock me at all. But probably would prefer just to see her run. Skybird's an interesting one as well. Even though she won the Lightning first up last prep, I think she probably is more of a 1,200 metre horse. But I just think the setup of Moonee Valley with a lot of speed on, she's drawn a nice gate. If Dogshit Johnny can sit just behind the speed, maybe midfield, maybe she'll get there in a photo. And she's $8.50, so I like Skybird as well. And I haven't even spoken about 3 or 4 other horses that can definitely win. Tricky race, but yeah, definitely keen to have a bet. It's probably going to be on Skybird or Isha, I'd say.
How would you rate this Lightning field that she beat? Stretton Angel, Benedetta, Switzerland, Traffic Warden, Marzu, Growing Empire, Way to the Stars, Philosopher, Joyful Fortune.
At the time, I rated it really highly. With those 3-year-old colts. Can you remember it was a weird deck as well? Like it was like windy and rainy and stuff like that. But yeah, in retrospect, is that a vintage edition of the Lightning? Probably not. I think she would have beaten a lot of good horses on that day though. The way she rocketed home. But she's pulled up lame. She had an injury. She's coming back from it. I liked her last trial. A few question marks absolutely for Skybird, but I've always liked her, and I've always thought that she has a wicked turn of foot. I think she just needs it all set up to go away.
Yeah. No, I like her as well here. I think it's that race. I think you can kind of, if we're liking the 4-year-olds, Arabian Summer is a 1,000-metre horse, I feel, and she's a new season 4-year-old as well. Barrier 1 will probably hope to control this out in front as well and give him something to chase. Barraquille's my guy, so I might have to have a bet on Barraquille just based on that, $6. And Barrier 10, I reckon they're hoping to be in the 3-wide position with cover, and then just start getting going from the 300 metres or so.
Yeah. I know that typically, I don't know what the stats are, but typically for a 1,000-metre race, when the rail's in the true at Moonee Valley, you probably just want to be in the sort of inside gates anyway, even if the track is playing pretty fair. But I don't know if we've seen a lot of 1,000-metre races at the Valley that are going to have this much early speed. Like, we know Alabama Lass is going to roll forward, Arabian Summer's going to roll forward, Aisha's showing that she can show initiative. We're not even thinking about Midwest and Golden Boom and Rothy in the wider gates coming across. So if Barraquille can keep an eye on them coming across, and in your words, get that sort of 3-wide line with a bit of cover, that might be the perfect place to be on the day. So, and he's the one who's drifted a bit in the market. He's $6. It could just be one of those, what? Why didn't we bet on him? You know what I mean? If he replicates that performance he had first, if he goes better than what he did first up and replicates his performance that he had on Cox Plate Day, if he doesn't win, he'll be top 3.
I think the distance is what is tripping people up, and he did have his absolute birthday first up. No denying that. But I think it's a different set of scenarios here. I think it's going to be far more testing here, and I think it actually sets up quite well for him. So he's probably my on-top selection, bit more heart over head. If it was 1,100 metres, I'd be all over him, or 1,200. But him and Skybird are the ones I'm really interested in. Fascinated to see how Alabama Lass goes. But yeah, Barraquille and Skybird, I think I can have a 2-bet play there. And good luck to Rothy. Good to see him down in Melbourne again. How far away was he in the Stradbroke? 3 lengths. And before that, he nearly won the Doom of 10,000, knocking off Sunshine in Paris on a heavy 8.
That would have been all time. I was cheering for
him.
He's a good boy, Rothy. I hope he runs well.
Yeah. Mate, I think that might be it.
That's all she wrote.
So, that's all she wrote.
No pot this week?
No pot this week, but I actually sold ourselves short. We're doing one for the Underwood. So not just the Golden Rose. So the Underwood is the next one. That is the 20th of September. So that is the next time that you can log into your Neds app and, have an absolute, hopefully, fill up. Have a bit of fun.
Of course you will.
And we'll go chips in on Seeples again.
Is that Rupert Clark Day as well? It actually is.
It might be. So
it actually is. So we might have to. He'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, he will be hard to beat. And Underwood or the Turnbull, we'll see Sir Dilius, I'd say. Maybe the Turnbull, I can't quite remember. But yeah, so it's going to be a fascinating weekend of racing, I would have thought. Probably one I'm definitely not chips in this weekend, let's put it that way.
No. This is a little bit tricky. Just like I said at the start, those horses who are sort of first up for the campaign with bigger fish to fry, just trying to get a bit of a feel for it. But look, I'll still be playing responsibly.
Of course, and you can do that via our Neds profiles. All right, Drifters, we'll see you on Sunday.
Good luck, Drifters.